In the shadows where truth and tales intertwine, we find the thrilling, the chilling, the downright spine-tingling. From the paranormal to the peculiar, every echo has a story. Dare to delve into the unexpected, the unexplained? Brace yourself, for you're about to embark on a journey where fear meets fascination. Stay tuned if you dare, for stories that will make your heart race and your mind ponder. Welcome to the realm of the eerie, the realm of the unknown. And remember, like and subscribe, if you dare. Imagine a quiet evening in Algonquin Park, Ontario. The usual piece, with a family out for their day hike with their spirited dog. Meet me, a seasoned park ranger, whose every day was punctuated by the regular sightings of this family and their dog. The dog, a ball of energy, never failed to bring a smile to my face. It would dart between the family and us rangers, its tail a constant blur of motion. A dog so curious it seemed to have an insatiable thirst for adventure and exploration. I would often find myself playing with the dog, tossing sticks into the forest for it to fetch, a game that brought sheer joy to both of us. The dog was a constant, a regular in the park, just like the family it belonged to. And I was more than just a park ranger to them. I was a friend, a familiar face amidst the vast expanse of the wilderness. Their usual routine consisted of day hikes along the park's many trails. The family, 2 boys and their parents, along with their dog, would set out on these trails, their laughter and chatter a pleasant interruption to the park's tranquility. The dog would run up and down, back and forth, its energy infectious and its spirit uncontainable. Little did I know that my routine day at the park was about to become anything but routine. On that fateful evening, I was tasked with locating the family as they had taken an unusually long time on the trail. As I made my way along on the path, I came across the 2 boys. Their faces were as white as a sheet, their eyes wide with a mix of fear and surprise. They quickly relayed the terrifying incident that had just occurred. Their dog, full of energy and curiosity, had been running up and down the trail, as was usual. This time, however, the dog's enthusiasm had taken a horrifying turn. In his excitement, he had run straight off the edge of a cliff, a good 50 to 60 feet drop. By some miracle, the dog had landed on a ledge about 10 feet down, but any movement could send him tumbling the rest of the way. The boys were frantic, unsure of what to do, when out of nowhere, a hiker appeared. This wasn't just any hiker, but one fully equipped with climbing gear, which was unusual for this area. Without wasting a moment, the hiker descended the cliff, rescued the dog, and then he simply disappeared back up the trail. He didn't wait around for thanks or even share his name. He was a savior who just appeared, did his job, and vanished into the trail. The boys, still in shock, were told to return to their awaiting parents. As for me, I decided to follow the trail of the mysterious man, hoping to offer my gratitude and perhaps introduce him to some of the lesser-known but breathtaking areas of the park. The footprints were fresh, an echo of the stranger's presence. They led me deeper into the woods, away from the familiar trails. As I trudged on, the forest grew quiet, its usual chatter replaced by an eerie silence. Suddenly, the footprints ended at a clearing. There, in the middle of this tranquil wilderness, stood a peculiar sight. And there it stood, a lonely door in the middle of nowhere, knocking gently as if inviting me in. I approached the door, curious and slightly unnerved. It stood alone in the clearing, an anomaly in the wild, its weathered surface speaking of age and a purpose long forgotten. The brass handle gleamed oddly in the dappled sunlight, a stark contrast to the worn wood it was set in. As I drew closer, an odd sound reached my ears, a gentle, rhythmic knock. Confused, I circled the door, expecting to find a prankster hiding behind it, but the area around was as empty as the rest of the clearing. The knocking ceased as I neared, leaving me in a silence that felt heavy, almost ominous. The surface of the door was surprisingly cold under my touch, a chill that seemed to seep into my bones despite the summer heat. On a whim, I rapped my knuckles against the wood, the sound echoing oddly in the stillness. "Knock, knock, is anyone there?" I called out, half joking, half serious. The response was immediate, a deep, gravelly voice inviting me in. Recoiling in shock, I leaned closer, pressing my ear against the door. The faint sound of breathing filled my ears, a chilling confirmation of the voice's existence. Tentatively, I reached out, wrapping my fingers around the brass handle. A tingling sensation, like a low current, traveled up my arm, causing my hair to stand on end. The door pulsed beneath my hand, a soft glow enveloping it. Then, with a sudden force that took me by surprise, It knocked me off my feet. As I hit the ground, a sharp pain shot through my head, my vision blurring at the edges. Struggling to stay conscious, I could only watch as the door slowly creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness beyond. 2 feet stepped out from the void, heading towards me. The last thing I remember before blacking out was the sight of the door opening and a pair of feet approaching me. When I came to, I found myself leaning against a tree, the door nowhere in sight. My head throbbed, a dull reminder of the encounter with the inexplicable door. My mind scrambled to understand. The forest around me was just the same as it always was, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. The air was filled with the usual sounds, the rustling of leaves, the distant call of a bird, the gentle whisper of the wind. Yet, there was an eerie silence where the door had stood. I pushed myself off the tree and stood up, my legs wobbly. I walked to the spot where the door had been, my heart pounding. The ground was undisturbed, no footprints, no trace of the door. It was as if the door had never existed. I reached out, half expecting my hand to meet the cold surface of the door, but it only met the emptiness of the air. I stood there, reeling from the bizarre encounter. My mind raced with questions. Had I imagined the entire thing? But the harsh voice that had invited me in, the cold touch of the door, the pulse of light, they all felt too real to be a figment of my imagination. I walked back to the trail, my mind in a whirl. I looked back once more, hoping to catch a glimpse of the door, but there was nothing. Only the lush green of the forest, standing tall and silent as if guarding an ancient secret. The rest of the day passed in a blur. I couldn't shake off the memory of the door, the voice, the light. Every rustle in the leaves, every shadow cast by the setting sun seemed to whisper of the mysterious door. I found myself looking over my shoulder, half expecting to see the door appear out of nowhere. Was it a dream or was it real? The mystery of the door remains, forever etched in my mind. The unresolved mystery of the door in the forest continues to haunt me, a chilling reminder of the unknown lurking in the shadows. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.